How's it going, guys? And welcome to my SmackDown review. So, this is the thing about this show. Roman Reigns coming out at the beginning, and this opening promo. To kick things off, I don't think I've ever been more disappointed in WWE for not taking advantage of a real-life situation, such an obvious one. I mean, what am I talking about here? The fact that they missed out on the opportunity to talk about Jimmu Uso, to play up the storyline that Roman Reigns would be disappointed in Jimmu Uso for dishonoring the family. What a great storyline opportunity. Completely dashed. It's nowhere to be found. So, a few years back, John Cena cut a promo on the Usos. No problem there. But here, nothing. Not a mention of it. Not even a suggestion or anything close. There was some talk backstage of going through hard times. Maybe that was the closest thing that we got. But as far as it being mentioned or even in the coherent way, like, how are they not talking about that? Your entire audience, the little audience that you have left, that's what people are talking about. That's what people want to hear. So, how interesting would that have been? Instead, what do we get? We get a recap to kick off the show. Roman Reigns taking eons to get to the ring. Before we know it, Roman Reigns is doing the Undertaker entrance. And I get it, let's build up drama and everything, but this is the beginning of the show. Could you imagine back in the day? You had epic entrances. You had Stone Cold kicking off the show, The Rock kicking off the show, Cena kicking off the show, all these different major stars kicking off the show. When did you ever have to wait 10 whole minutes for something to happen, for someone to speak a word, for some action to happen? We're waiting in the ring. And 2 whole minutes for Roman Reigns to open his mouth and say something. Do they really think that the audience at home is gonna, is the casual audience, the people that really matter, the people that are not the built-in audience, the people who are not gonna watch anyway? Do you really think that those people are gonna stick around as we just get Roman Reigns, waiting for a piped-in crowd? We're going to have a live audience next week on Raw and SmackDown, but we still got to have the piped-in crowd. Like, are we supposed to still believe that that's a real crowd? And Roman Reigns is waiting for the piped-in noise that's being piped into the Thunderdome? We have to wait? Talk about killing time. And, I noticed, like, they really seemed like they were really killing a lot of time on this show, and especially in the last segment. These things could have been so much better if they were sped through a little bit. I mean, this is unacceptable to start off a show 10 whole minutes. No wonder people tune out to this show, because, like, it's ridiculous. You're watching this show. Are you really gonna just stand there? Like, I get it. Yes, Roman Reigns looks like a star. I'll be the first one to say it. I say it every week until I turn blue in the fucking face. But, we're always supposed to just sit there and admire him? Enough of this. We're going to say, oh, building the drama. Nothing even happened in this opening segment. So, Roman is in the ring. Jimmy comes out and says, where were you? Were you on vacation? He says, well, I deserve vacation. He says, but I don't go on vacations. He said, instead I was out. And he brings back Jey Uso. So, like, out of all the days out of the week, he's gone because Roman Reigns decided to take the one night of the week, the week that he's supposed to be there, to go pay a visit to Jey Uso, who's coming back this week. Like, huh? Like, what? So it took you. So are we supposed to believe that it either took him an entire week, or he just could only managed to get Jey Uso that one particular Friday. You know, instead we have the biggest star on the show, a total absentee with no explanation. And this is it. What happened to all the drama of Jey? I can't take it anymore. It's as simple as that. He just comes back unexplained. You know, instead the golden opportunity was, you know, beaming right in their face like a pair of blinding headlights. DUI! Jimmy Uso story, let's play it up. This should be a family issue. And they don't do anything with it. And then that's it. That's your opening segment. We took all that time just to reintroduce Jey Uso. Yay? Like, what was accomplished here? Absolutely nothing was accomplished. Anyway, we got Jimmy and Jey. You know, they talk with each other backstage a little bit. You know, they say, why don't they take care of business later on? Okay, you know what? We move on. There's still no mention of the DUI. Corbin comes out to the ring. We get to see a little promo, you know, about what happened to him, some vignettes, you know, how he's fallen on hard times, and it's good. And I'll say this, for me, I think that this felt like the most complete segment on the show was the Corbin match with Nakamurphy. This really wasn't a bad match, and everyone knows I'm not a big Nakamurphy fan, but you know, I will say this, McAfee and Big E, you know, talking to each other, and Big E was being entertaining, and the jokes he was making that sounded completely ridiculous about him going to Home Depot, you know, they got a chuckle out of me. I mean, you know, just attempts at originality and some natural humor is much appreciated. And I don't know, it just felt alive, and I liked it. You know, Big E had the couch out there. McAfee is putting his feet in the foot bath, and, you know, I just thought that there was a lot of stuff going on during this, and the commentary was pretty lively. And I think we do owe a bit of credit to Big E for that. But, man, these assholes, Nakamurphy and Boogs, you know, they're acting like total assholes. So, I don't understand here. Are we supposed to be sympathetic to Corbin? Or are we supposed to rally behind? You know, Big E is like making fun of Baron Corbin. What did Corbin ever do to him? And also, you know, Nakamurphy and everything, like, you know, they're making Nakamurphy just trounce on Corbin, and, you know, he beats him here, and I get, you know, Corbin is supposed to be down on his luck and everything, and they show that Nakamurphy is driving the same car that got repossessed from Corbin. So, like, I don't get it. Like, are people supposed to cheer Nakamurphy? Yay, he's acting like a total asshole. I mean, they're like total fucking bullies. It's really true. Like, these are the baby faces on the fucking show. And before people say, I'm copying, I'm going to give all the credit in the world to Ben Hameen and Stevie Richards over on the Realm Network on Vince Russo's brand, because they were the first ones to say it. Like, this is like bullying here. So it felt good when Corbin just reared back and punched Boogs in the face at ringside, because, yeah, they're being total assholes here. I don't get it. Like, and I like what they're doing with Corbin, you know, but, man, I mean, you know, the bullying, everything. And remember when they used to be, like, against that? Be a star. What a bunch of bullshit. Because here we have good guys bullying the bad guys, where the bad guys don't even seem like the bad guys anymore. You sympathize with them. You know, and you kind of think, like, how many times a year when people are bullied, you know, do they take their own life and everything? And remember, like, when WWE used to be against that? I mean, here's a guy that's, like, losing it all, and I like the storyline, but, like, the bullying part of it is just, it's weird. It truly is. Like, and I know that, like, This is probably not going to result in a comeuppance or anything, or maybe it will, because they did trademark Happy Corbin. Happy Gilmore Corbin. I mean, please do not tell me that we're going to take a promising gimmick like this that has some entertainment value, to say the least, and turn it into a damn disappointing freak show goofy. It's going to be really fucking goofy. So here we go. We've got Naka Murphy in the Money in the Bank. Some funny stuff at ringside. I will say McAfee is bringing some life into the product a little bit, you know, by being entertaining at ringside. I'm not marking out for McAfee like a lot of people are. Best commentator in decades. Oh, like, guys, he's not that good. Best commentator in decades? Like, I will tell you straight up, guys, I thought, like, Matt Stryker, I thought that, you know, Todd Grisham was a good commentator. You know, we had some other good commentators. Or, like, are we forgetting about those commentators? I guess that we are. You know, because he's definitely not the best of the decade. I can tell you that much. Or more in the decade, whatever these goofs are saying online. So we've got Tamina and Natalya coming out. And we've got some mystery opponents. And we've got Shotzi, not Shotzi Blackheart, mind you, but just Shotzi. And Tegan Nox. Probably two of the most overrated stars I've ever seen. And you know me, like, I've checked some of these people out, you know, in NXT. And, you know, aside from a choice few, like Karrion Kross, like, you want to hear, like, right now, like, who my favorite NXT star is. It is Karrion Kross by a country mile. Because you want to talk about a star, someone who looks like a star. There you go. Scarlett Bordeaux and Karrion Kross, Killer Kross. That's where it's at. That's a star. That's and Eli Drake, LA Knight. Those are like my favorites right there. Guys that look like stars, guys that have the tools. So, you know, there you go. But like these women right here, you know, they proved, like, did you see the timing towards the end of this match? How poor it was? And how the catapult into the super kick was totally fucked up? And then, you know, there was a weird spot where there was like a counter from a back body drop, you know, into like a sort of like a pin or breaking up a pin. That sequence towards the end was like a total clusterfuck. It looked so amateurish, and, you know, Tegan Nox with the slow pull off at the end, and, you know, I don't know, you know, like, okay, like, Shotzi is like an attractive girl. You know, I see why people have the thing for her and everything, but I don't know, like, I just look at Shotzi and I'm not seeing star right there. You know, we got the punk rock chick here, and I just can't, you know, I just can't help but think back, like what I said, like being a part of the wrestling gods and people posting pictures all the time. Someone just posted up, you know, how the girls look now. Trish Stratus, Lita, Tori Wilson, Stacy Keibler. Like, they just looked like women. These just look like girls to me. Like, they just look like the most random thoughts on Instagram. I'm sorry, but someone has to say it. You know, is Shotzi really that hot to people that, like, they're buying all sorts of disgusting shit from her, you know, on eBay and all that? Like, yeah, people, I think, buying her underwear and stuff, and I think even worse than that, it's just that everyone makes her and Tegan Nox and all the other girls in NXT, like, they're the best of all time. I guess they're better than the girls in AEW, but that's not saying much. That's not saying much at all. But, I mean, this is the best. This is, like, I'm just telling you guys, like, going back on the network and just looking back at, say, 1999, where, there wasn't really that much attention paid to the women's division. Just seeing Ivory come out there and cut a promo, making fun of the other women, and just the involvement of like Fabulous Moolah and Mae Young. And this is even before Trish Stratus and Lita main eventing Raw, and, having Victoria there. And, when they started to take it a bit more seriously and start competing like men, you gotta say, like, even that was better. Because even that was more over. You could even hear the crowd. And then you had also Ivory being on the cover of Entertainment Weekly. I'm watching Raw and SmackDown from December of 1999. The Rock and Ivory sharing a cover in Entertainment Weekly. When are you going to see Tegan Knox or, Shotzi doing that? You're not going to see that. Because we're living in the time frames, like I said, because they just look like girls on Instagram, which are a dime a dozen, and then you have those girls from back then that look like actual women. And it's just a really interesting comparison to do that side by side. For anyone who's, too young to remember those times, I really recommend that if you have your subscription to Peacock, go back and watch those old segments with the women and just how much better they are and how much more satisfying they are. And I know a lot of people will be like, oh, sex appeal, oh, but I recommend it regardless. So this was just a really messy match. They end up getting the win. Michael Cole, I don't get it. There's that amount of enthusiasm from them picking up a win over the tag champs, and no one, I don't think, even really cares that much that Natalya and Tamina are the tag champs. Dear God, no one's meaner than Tamina. Who the fuck came up with that one? Ooh, wow, just a lot of cringe right here. Just very sloppy, poorly timed work. I don't know. Just a lot of these people, you notice they had Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano. Remember how fast those guys went back to NXT? I don't think these girls are going to be sticking around for that much longer. And we also see that they're going to bring Toni Storm. So now all of a sudden we've got a bunch of NXT women just heading over. And I don't know if this is because of Bayley's injury, which we'll be talking about in a moment. And, well, yeah, it's coming up next, so I guess we'll just jump right into that. Sonya Deville comes out to the ring. She talks about Bayley being injured and she won't be able to make it to Money in the Bank. She's going to be out for 9 months. And she got injured training. And I made a post about this in Wrestling Gods over on Facebook. And I was just saying, you think all these wrestlers and everything, everyone's saying how safer wrestling is over in AEW and the WWE. It's never been safer than it's been. Well, how do you explain all these injuries all the time? We're always getting injury reports every couple of months. We've talked about Seth Rollins. We've talked about Sasha Banks and the injuries and the concussions. And just, it's just incomparable to the Attitude Era where barely anyone got injured. You think back of the stars, you can watch. I watched the Attitude Era in 98 to 99, and most of the stars are still there. Very few people are injured. Stone Cold, that's about the only one, because he had to have neck surgery because of an accident from 97. That's extenuating circumstances. There's a difference between an accident, an occasional accident, and all the time injuries. Bayley got injured while she was training. So she was at the Performance Center and she injured herself, or someone injured her, whoever that, untold person is, that unnamed person is. I don't get it. I've never heard this before. Someone getting injured while they're training. And it's weird because didn't they do an angle with this to get Shane out of a match with Braun Strowman just a few months ago before WrestleMania? Isn't that interesting that they've taken this, you know, it's not a work. Some people said, is it a work and everything? And even later on, Bianca Belair brings that up, which is interesting. But anyway, Sonya makes an announcement. Well, first Bayley cuts a promo and she blames the fans and everything because she was training for them and blah, blah, blah. I'll tell you one thing, you know, I don't like to see anyone get injured, but I am definitely just not going to miss Bayley being on my TV. I'm just going to say that. Really, like, the show, I'm sorry to say, is not going to feel anything with the absence of Bayley. And that's not to be mean or anything. That's not to be like Nakamura and Boogs, you know, taunting poor old Corbin. But it's just, it kind of just shows like these people are not stars because no one's going to miss Bayley. And she even says that the fans don't care. And she's right. No one does care. And that's not a work. You know, that's reality there because, yeah, no one cares about Bayley because if they did, it'd be all eyes on Bayley, and it's not, trust me. We get Carmella being named as the replacement, you know, which is just totally out of nowhere. There's no story behind this. You know, I get that we got to have a replacement, but, you know, could they find a better way to get there, maybe? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there is no better way to get there. But I feel like there is. I think if just anyone just applied a single brain cell in their mind, in their brain, excuse me, that they would probably be able to come up with a little something better than this. So Carmella gets named. She comes out. Then Liv Morgan starts complaining her ass off. And, like, I got to tell you something. Is Liv supposed to be the baby face? Because this is the thing, like, the baby faces on this show are as annoying as can possibly be. Why am I not getting my shot? Are you kidding me? Like, first of all, the acting is just terrible. Whoever, you know, is telling Liv Morgan that these promos are good, like, I don't know how she went from 0 mic time to getting mic time each week, and every week it's her complaining. Complain. She comes out and she gets in Sonya Deville's face. Sonya, like, you know, being the MMA star, shouldn't even be backing up from her. She should be dropping her ass down. But, you know, I get it. She's the authority figure and whatever. But, you know, be that as it may, she rewards Liv Morgan and actually tells her, you know, if you kept your mouth shut, I was going to tell you that you're going to be replacing Carmella in the Money in the Bank. So she gets a replacement. Then Bianca comes out. And the weird thing is, she's cutting a promo on Bayley, mostly when Carmella's in the ring. And she's not really even paying that much attention to Carmella. But she's like talking to Bayley. And the weird thing is, like, she's looking straight ahead. But the camera's, like, over here, like, you know, looking at her from the side. So, like, can someone signal to her it's the fucking Thunderdome that the camera's over here? If you're talking to Bayley, who's at home, then you need to look this way because you're looking that way, and that's Carmella, but you're saying Bayley, and Bayley is not in the ring. She's watching, so it would make more sense to talk to the camera. I'm just saying it. That just kind of makes a bit more sense to me. I don't know, like, it just, I don't get all this, like, there's a lot of amateur, like, there's a lot of professional stuff on here, like Roman Reigns, you know, and some, you know, quality stuff elsewhere. Like, we see, you know, with Corbin, like, there is potential here for interesting storylines and characters, but then we get this where it's just amateur hour. We're looking the wrong way. We're getting, you know, just a terrible promo from a girl that, you know, pretends to be a wrestler. I'm just saying, like, you know, and again, like, Liv Morgan, like, a cute girl, but, like, you know, I've talked about just, it comes off extremely weird. I'm thinking back to a few weeks ago when we had her like she pins. I think she pinned Carmella, I believe it was even, and she had her foot on the leg and she goes, "Nah!" Like total freak out moment. Also, Zelina Vega was not on this show at all. Wow. Some return. She comes back, she loses her match, and she's in Money in the Bank, but she's not even here. I don't know, unless she's going to be on Talking Smack, which I don't watch and won't watch. But I'm just saying, wow, that was fast. She came back, and she's not on the show already. Barely even a mention of her. Just, you know, just when, like, Liv comes out, she says he gave the opportunity to Zelina last week, and that's about it. Anyway, moving on from that terribleness, we get the Toni Storm vignette. She's coming, and, you know, Toni Storm, to me, I've talked about in the Royal Rumble. You know, another girl, like, you know, looks good, but looks like an Ashley Mazzaro ripoff to me. Like, I just get these flashes of just these better looking, you know, just, you know, you want to talk about, like, strong women and all that, and the female empowerment. You know, you looked at these girls and they were like goddesses back in the day, but here, like, I'm just saying, I don't mean to be insulting or anything, or insulting, but I'm just saying, like, you know, as I'm scrolling through Instagram, I'm seeing girls that look like this, you know, like on every post, basically. You know, but you didn't see anyone really that looked like a Stacy Keibler or Tori Wilson. You know, those girls, those were 1 in a million. You know, not a dime a dozen. I'm just saying it has to be said, because that's what I'm seeing here. I'm just seeing, you know, just girls that kind of look like a watered down version of, you know, the superior versions, basically. Seth Rollins and Cesaro have a Money in the Bank qualifier match. You know, here we go. This is like the 4th or 5th match from these guys in the span of 2 months. And it's absolutely nauseating already seeing these guys. And also they do a finish 2 weeks in a row. Last week it was Kevin Owens, you know, being the zombie. Ooh, you can't keep him down. He's coming for you. You know, being smashed through 2 tables, getting hit with every possible signature move, big move on the ring apron. We've got the same thing here from Cesaro. You know, after his head gets busted open on the exposed turnbuckle, that should have been it. That was the perfect finish. You want to do a schoolboy finish? This was your opportunity to have a good schoolboy finish. Rollins bashes his head against that. We hadn't seen the turnbuckle spot, I believe, in quite some time. I can't remember it, which is good. It's a good thing that I don't remember it. So I was like, oh, a turnbuckle spot. Great. Heelish tactics from Seth. I can't stand Seth, but, you know, he's wrestling to, you know, his character, and that's good. But it doesn't end that way. Kick out. Okay, so then Rollins rolls him up again real quick, grabs the ropes, he kicks out of that. A few more moves, looks like it should end. Then we go outside, he's trying to get him counted out. Cesaro comes in, then Seth hits him with a big DDT right on, you know, face first, right on the steel entrance ramp. And they even comment, oh, the same steel that he stomped his head on and injured him and everything. And okay, so it should be over there. He gets in, you know, right before the ref gets to 10. And then Seth has to hit another curb stomp. And I'm like, you just had all these opportunities for, like, Seth to, like, you know, get the heel victory, take the Weasley way out of trying to get Cesaro counted out. And, like, and Cesaro is getting up after being busted open, after taking a face full of steel at the turnbuckle, and then he gets another face full of steel, 2 faces full of steel, and he's still coming back. Zombie Cesaro. You know what I'm saying? Like, is he that big, you know, of a star where he's, like, getting up after these big moves? I am so sick and tired of seeing this. And speaking of getting up after moves, we hadn't seen that ridiculous spot with Rollins hitting the superplex off the top and then going for the Falcon Arrow. Now, Cesaro blocks the Falcon Arrow, but Seth still got up after the superplex. And I'm like, does anyone remember Benoit or just any other wrestler hitting a superplex and it was like those guys basically, they either would stay down, you know, and get up right before a count of 10. You know, the ref would count it down because it was supposed to be like, oh, I mean, you suplex someone off the top rope. It should sting a little bit. Instead, Rollins no-souls it. And it's like, it's not like Rollins is this big dude where he should, you know, he's impregnable to pain. No. But he's getting up and he's still doing this. And I thought that someone might have told him not to do it, but he still did it anyway. I guess they didn't. He was just, you know, cooling it for a bit. But, man, that spot should never be done. It's a lousy spot. It's a fake-looking spot. It sucks. It looks really shitty. And what it does is it cheapens what's a really good classic move that's supposed to do a lot of damage during a match. You know, like I said, they would either do a 10, you know, a count to 10, you know, and the wrestlers would get up, like, right before the 10 count. Or, like, a wrestler would slowly get into the cover because you're going back first. The back of your head is hitting and everything, and we all remember when Benoit would do it. You know, that's probably the cause of his concussions, the headbutt, the big superplex, and we're cheapening a move like that, and that's just unacceptable. This is another reason why when people say, oh, the work rate in matches is so much better than it was back in the day. The match quality is better. What a bunch of goofballs. Seriously, you know, how is it that the wrestlers did less back then and it meant more than they're doing more moves now and it means so much less? That is really a testament to just how shitty these shows are and these matches are, and just, it's, you know, you ever hear too much of a good thing? Less is more. All good adages that apply to the situation at hand. So we get Jay and Jimmy, and you know, I had like Jay, Gerald Briscoe and Pat Patterson vibes, Stooges vibes, McMahon Stooges vibes, as they're like saying like, oh, you know, we're gonna go in and attack Edge, and first we got like Jimmy ready to knock on the door, and Jay's like, you know, what are you doing? We're not gonna knock, we're gonna wait, and then they just burst in and Edge is not there. I felt like there should have been something funnier here. Like someone could have been waiting for them in the locker room other than Edge. You know, I'm just saying, like, back in the day, you'd have, like, the boogeyman waiting there or something like that. Like, I just felt like, oh, well, Edge is not there. Okay, is that supposed to be funny? I mean, like, it just felt empty. Like, I kind of liked how they were, like, bumbling there for a moment. It kind of, you know, sparked a comedic interest in me. But then they just ended it, like, on such a sour, you know, note there, like, on a down note. And I'm like, what? Like, it just felt like that felt really incomplete. Like, okay, and what was the point of that? They burst into the locker room, Edge is not there, and, well, we better go look for a man in the ring because, yeah, Edge is... Oh, Seth first cuts a promo backstage, and Edge is that's where he is basically. He's behind Rollins. The Usos see this and come to get him. No, but he stands behind him and intimidates Seth. Seth says he should be in the match already, and so there's probably going to be a program between these two guys, and I really wish they wouldn't do that. But, of course, they're going to do it anyway. Because this is a dream match to some people, I suppose. Anyway, so, yeah, Edge comes out. This is what I wanted to say about this promo. I had to think for a minute, like, what did Edge say? And I have it right here in my notes, actually. Edge says, I heard a shrill voice. And I totally fucking lost it. Because Edge... It's got to be the first wrestler to actually comment on Seth's voice. And I'm like, what took so long? Like, are these wrestlers, like, deaf that they don't hear what Seth sounds like? So it was funny that Edge actually called him out on this. Seth doesn't really get, like, doesn't get to say anything here anyway, but, you know, it was funny. I liked it. We got Otis and Gable. They show a vignette. There's a recap, and, like, you know, I feel like I've been watching countless recaps of Otis beating up the Street Profits. Like, this is all it's been for, like, a month. We recap it. Then he beat this one guy up. He beat up Montez Ford. Then he beat up Angelo Dawkins like 2 times. And I'm losing track of, like, who he beat up this week, who he beat up the next week. And now he's not wrestling this week. It's just basically Gable cutting a promo. They zoom in on Otis's face. Yeah, he looks tough. I've said it. You know, this guy has a real chance to be really over as a powerhouse. But we all know how that goes. You know, we just see how everything else... I mean, we're talking about a company that can't even follow up on an obvious storyline of a DUI when everyone's talking about it on the internet. When everyone is talking about it, that's the hot story. They totally missed their opportunity. So then we get Edge coming out to the ring. He calls out Roman. Roman tells the Usos to stay back, but they don't listen to him. And Roman gets in the ring. The Usos are about to jump on the apron. Edge and Roman start fighting. And here's another thing. Like, getting down to the ring. Roman is taking his sweet-ass time, and you know they're trying to stretch this shit out to 10 o'clock as much as they possibly can. They're stretching it out. They're stretching it out. Like, this slow-moving Reigns thing. I get it. You know, they want him to be like a boss. He's methodical and everything. But holy shit. Like, we've had some methodical people. Like, but come on. I mean, this is getting ridiculous already. Like, they're having every single time he comes out there moving slowly. I'm sorry, but I don't think this really adds anything to the character. What we need is a better storyline. And you had an obvious storyline, but you know what they do instead? Okay, so the Usos get up on the apron. Rey Mysterio and Dominic make their grand return. They come out, you know, and attack the Usos. They're lying in wait. They make, like, I guess, like, Edge had them waiting in the wings, I suppose. And then they take control. Roman gets out of the ring. And they start torturing the Usos. You know, Edge gets the chair out. He breaks the piece off the chair again. And here he goes. He's doing it to Jay. So that way he got all 3 of them. But then he continues the attack. He goes back to Jay, then to Jimmy, back to Jay. And I'm like, just end it already. Like, this continued. Like, after Roman leaves the ring and he's watching it. And, you know, I don't know. You know, he's walking away and he's just watching it and everything. I mean, I don't know, how we're supposed to just stay fixated on this at the end. Like, who's not going to turn it off? Like, it's enough already. You know, here we've got, like, you know, something violent. I get it. You know, he's pulling back, but, like, we've seen it already. We saw it at Mania. We saw it last week. And now we're seeing it again. And then again. And then again. And it's like, it's violent, but it's boring. Because they're dragging it out too much. Less is more here. And it really seemed like, oh, guys, you know, we'll save some stuff for next week, you know, because we got the live crowd. And, you know what was funny? They didn't even, like, talk about how Raw was going to have a live crowd or anything on the show. Now, I get it, SmackDown. They're talking about SmackDown, but, like, you know, there was probably commercials. I was watching this on Hulu, so there's obviously going to be different commercials than when it aired on Fox. So, I don't know, you know, but, like, I would think if you have your first major show, you can probably just excuse the brand split for a minute and say, hey, by the way, guys, Raw is going to be back in front of a live crowd. Because if you didn't know, you would think that SmackDown's going to be the first show that's going to have a live crowd. Because, you know, as everyone says, the ratings don't mean anything. So here I am watching it on Hulu, right? So there you go. So if I didn't check WWE.com, I had to actually double check it and see. I was like, Raw is in front of a live crowd come Monday, right? And it is. But you wouldn't know that unless you saw the commercial, you went online, because they don't tell you on SmackDown. They tell you SmackDown's going to be in front of a live crowd. Whatever. Very dragged out ending, very dragged out beginning. The women's tag match, that was just awful. I said, like, Nakamurphy and Corbin, that was fun. I was entertained by that. You know, everything else, like, what the hell was even going on this show? I don't even know. Just Seth Rollins and Cesaro for the 1,000th time. I don't want to see that match ever again. Like, I'm just saying. But, you know, I will say this. I'm not looking forward to Edge and Seth Rollins when that eventually happens. But if Edge could get more cracks in like he did on Seth's voice, then we might get some entertaining promos out of it. Like, right? Anyway, guys, there you go. I hope you all enjoyed the review. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Click the bell to get all notifications when I post all my new videos. I want to thank all my patrons for your continued support. Thanks again, guys. I'll see you next time.